Hello Pisces, I hope that you're all doing well. This reading is going to be about what will unfold for you over the next 5 days. We're starting off with 10 of Cups and 9 of Cups. Okay, something very happy happening for you over the next 5 days. When we have 10 of Cups and we have 9 of Cups, it shows that like something that we wanted very much comes to fruition. And this is the type of thing that, alongside with it being what you want, you also actually feel happy with it. You feel happy about it. It feels right to you. So this isn't one of those times where you're like, this is what I want, or I think this is what I want, and then you have it and then you feel disappointed. This is one of those times when this is actually congruent with what you want and you feel that resonating within you. So something very, 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 very happy. You'll be very happy with this. I'm curious about it. Let's see if we can get any insight about what this is. You'll really feel this. You will really feel this. Like a light that you cannot contain within you and that shines outward. I'm seeing Venus. Venus can mean that this is something that you attracted your way. Venus is also about enjoyment as well, so, and pleasure. So this will be something that you'll feel very happy with, very pleased with. A sense of fulfillment, a sense of joy. You know those times when you feel so pleased with something that it almost feels like you're vibrating from within? I get that type of vibe from this. Like overflowing with joy. Okay. This looks like it has to do with something that you've been working out, but now it looks like this thing is being worked out and there's movement now at this point. I'm seeing a triangle or a pyramid here. I'm seeing you go in a single direction, like the energy is all moving in the same direction now. And before, something was going on where for some reason, there was something going on with the vehicle energetically that needed to be addressed. It feels like it was tuned up. Whatever needed to be tuned up was tuned up. Now everything is working together harmoniously. And now, like faster than ever, things move forward. It feels like there was an addressing, a conversation, a tuning up that had to happen. Could have even felt like there was stuff getting in the way. I'm not seeing that be a thing anymore. I'm seeing we've moved past that now. This means too that there may have needed to be a decision too. Like we're all deciding that this is where we're going and then that's happening. Now things can move forward. It's like every part needs to find its place as well. That can be part of it too. And then when everybody is sort of in agreement, then things can move quickly because like everybody sort of knows their place. Everybody sort of knows their part. It's been agreed upon and then everything moves forward so quickly, like very, very efficiently. So it was worth taking the time to figure it out so then everything can move forward. And things are working exactly as they are supposed to be. If something feels like it hasn't given back to you yet, I'm seeing that it will. That's where you're going. So yeah, if you've been involved in something that feels like Is this a direction that ultimately will lead to that sense of balance and equality systemically? That's what I'm seeing be reflected here. That's where things are going. It feels like that totally hasn't happened yet, but that is the trajectory here. This looks like you needed to figure something out so that you could move forward. I feel even like something that had... It was something that you needed to learn or take initiative on. I wonder, it just feels like you're ready to move forward now. Like something that needed to be learned, something that needed to be understood, even something that you just needed to be open to so that things could move forward. Maybe that's what it was, needing to get to that point where you were allowing. Because when we have Page of Swords come out, it's that part of us that we have to be receptive. And this feels like some things had to happen in order for you to get to that point where there was a receptivity. And now that that's here, there can finally be a moving forward. But maybe you didn't get to that point where the receptivity was there yet. But now I'm seeing it here. I'm seeing you be in that place now. And because of that, things are moving forward now. You could have wanted them to move forward, but felt like you just weren't at that status yet. You weren't ready for it, and now I'm seeing that be here. This can also be, too, that you were stuck thinking, like, this is what I want, or that's what I want, but you hadn't really gotten to the bottom of what that was for you, and now something really important has been discovered. I'm hearing the word serial. Now something really important and vital to this, and central to this. It's like you're finally aware of, you're finally open to, you're finally receptive to what you actually want within your heart in the most centered and pure of ways, like the absolute essence. And with that in your heart, because you have now opened yourself to it, I'm seeing you move forward. So things finally are moving forward now. But before, you could have just not gotten there yet, and that's why things didn't happen yet. It's like a truth that you still hadn't revealed to yourself yet. But what's so amazing about this is that I'm seeing you in the place where this has now been realized, where this has now been understood, where there's not that block anymore. It's like you're the center of your heart space speaking very, very clearly to you, and you had to do some research and some figuring out and some opening up the channels to get to that point where it became loud, clear, and obvious to you. And now that that's happening, I'm seeing with joy in your heart you moving forward. And even this sense of like, I get this overflowing feeling of like you've really plugged in, you've really connected, you've really opened yourself to that sense of connection, and things can move forward, and moving forward from a place of understanding as well. And that you did this, like you've been figuring this out, you've been having to open yourself to this, and things really be making sense for you now. This feels like a meeting of the mind and the heart as well, where there is a connection between the two. that maybe wasn't full strength before that now feels full strength. And maybe that's what's needed to be worked out all along. It does feel like this happens in phases. I'm seeing there be a lot of excitement here about moving forward. Now that something is worked out, it feels like nothing is getting in your way at all. I'm seeing it just be clear road in front of you. And things do progress very quickly. It feels like a full tank of gas here and moving forward with that. Like absolutely nothing getting in your way. Totally, totally clear now. Yeah, I get this coming back. As far as the context that I'm seeing here, what was going on is that what your heart was saying, there, it feels like before there wasn't a full awareness of what that was. Because your heart had been communicating with you and it feels like there wasn't a full opening to that before. Now I'm seeing there be that full opening to that so you can hear it loud and clear. So now things can move forward. And you know too that when you're moving forward, you just have that feeling of that energy around you when you know that you're taking the right steps and you know that you're going the right way. It's like that. It's a feeling of confidence that you experience from that remembering the truth and from that knowing. It's like a comfort to have that around you as a byproduct of you being on track here and you being tuned in. And that's what had to be worked out before. And now that that's being worked out, I'm seeing it be very obvious and very clear about moving forward. This feels too like what you're opening yourself up to as well, and what you may have thought, do I open myself up to that, and is that the right thing, or is this over here, and like had to get to the bottom of it, like what that was for you, like what is this supposed to be, what are you supposed to be plugging into, what are you supposed to be connecting with? And when I say supposed to be, I mean like when you're checking in, tuning in with your heart space, what is it saying to you? And before it felt like something just needed to be figured out. Now that that's figured out, it feels very obvious moving forward what you're going towards. It's like no static on the line anymore. And then in this last act of the reading, when we have Six of Pentacles and we have Knight of Pentacles, what this means is that you are making moves in a way that feels like you're not getting the short end of the stick anymore. It feels like I'm doing this from a place of balance, from a place where I'm aware of my values and there's congruence because there is harmony with the way that I'm doing this. So this means that the energy that you put in, you will also get that back, and it allows for this process to not only be restorative, but for there to be equality within it and sustainability because of that. That's what you're going towards. That is the future. That is the progress. Because I wonder too if before you were doing stuff that it's like you were either like over giving or it just felt like not right what was going on. And this can be a time when you feel like the moves that you're making, you are in the correct arena for yourself. And this can mean too that you needed to be like an agent for yourself, where if you were doing something and you're like, this doesn't really make me happy, but I feel like this is like maybe where I'm supposed to be putting my energy, and then you feel like you don't get what you need from it, like it's not nourishing to you. This feels like a time where there's just this full awareness of the guiding quality of your spirit that you have connected with, and the guidance of it being loud and clear for you, and it also helping you with practical matters as well, and steps that you're taking. and that you don't have to pick one or the other. Everything comes together in congruence with one another. And so you don't feel like you have to leave part of yourself behind here. You feel like you're all on the same page with this. And so of course you're going to get what you need, just as a byproduct of doing things in this way. Whereas before you could have been trying to get what you need but not going about it the right way, and then not having it meet those ends. It feels even like trying to before do a top-down approach, and now you're doing bottom-up, and seeing that that actually makes a lot more sense here. Like, you have to be here, and then it's going to inform everything else. But before, you may have been doing it a different way. But that's also part of the process of learning, too. We have to figure these things out, and I'm seeing you be open to that now, which makes the difference. Feels like this is also the logical, not only the logical thing to be doing here, but there's a practicality to this when we have the Knight of Pentacles. There's a discernment here. There's an awareness here. And I wonder too if this is also about just discernment in general of there are different possibilities for me and what I may want, and having to discern to get to the point of knowing like what that actually is. If you're posed with different options, which is the real thing for you, and having to discern that and then disclose that to yourself. Because with joy in your heart, I'm seeing you now move forward, and that deliberation that was happening before has concluded, and it feels like this is the obvious next chapter that is opening, and it is the one that you very much do feel connected with here, and that there has also been this checking in when it comes to discernment about equality, about reciprocity, about doing something where there is that inherent balance to it. That doesn't mean that we don't have to work some things out sometimes, but it means for the most part that when you enter into something, the scales are actually balanced, rather than there being that disparity and then feeling like it becomes about something other than it actually is. It's basically like, if you are meant to enjoy traveling along the path, but there's some misfiring or dysfunction that you keep having to work on while you're moving along, you don't really get to enjoy or focus or pay attention to the beauty of the journey and the land before you, because there's something that keeps drawing your attention to it because you keep having to fix it. It's like the wheel keeps falling off. So every couple steps you have to put the wheel back on, and every couple steps you have to put the wheel back on. And it can feel like, yeah, you're moving forward, but you're not really paying attention to the actual journey, the landscape, that it just becomes about putting the wheel back on constantly and doing the same thing over and over again. And then it like really distracts you from the rest of it, from like the ambiance even of the experience. And now this feels like getting a vehicle that's actually going to, you don't have to keep tending to that anymore, so you can actually look around and you start really enjoying like your experience that you're having, because you're seated in the right seat now, in the right vehicle now. And that was something that needed to be discerned. Like, your focus is no longer on the vehicle anymore, it's on the journey, it's on the path. And that can be something that's a much more type of experience that you want to be having here. And before it felt like very technical. This feels like there's a freedom to it, like a flow to it now. And this all comes from a place of deciding, I don't want it to be about the wheel falling off anymore. I want to just get the vehicle where I don't have to think about the vehicle anymore, and it's just doing what it needs to do. But before realizing that that was even a choice that you had, it feels like you may not have been open to what you really wanted. That it didn't just have to be like that, that you do get to have a preference here. And that you can enjoy the ride. This is a slow and steady process. Know that it is absolutely going to take you where you want to go. And that you are, now that this has been addressed, you are free to move forward how you want to. This is also something that's going to be like it can be like a more constant, like every day, like making sure that you're taking the steps that are supportive of the path. And that also being part of this too. So don't, it feels like the overall part of this message is don't get discouraged by that, like long-term incremental growth and progress that is part of this right now. So sort of allow your mind to be expectant, I think, of that, rather than something supposed to, like, why isn't it moving like this, why isn't it moving like that, and knowing that this is going to be a more like steady incremental type of thing that happens. Okay, all right, my friends, we're going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I am sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.